So this is a mid-level petty offense. My lawyer said, it's kind of akin to like playing your music too loud on a Friday night. And I have no prior criminal record. So when I got out of jail, I was too traumatized to go back to my apartment. I was very scared to go back to my apartment. So I stayed in a hotel for 3 days. And then when I finally had the nerve to go back to my apartment, when I got there, there was a note on my door saying that I was being kicked out of my apartment. It was from my building manager saying that I had 30 days to vacate the building. And then the next thing that happened was a week or two after that, I got a letter from the government saying that they were revoking my TSA pre-check status, that I was no longer considered a low-risk traveler by the government. And then I went to the airport for the first time a few weeks after that because I had to take a business trip. And that's when I discovered that I'd been placed on a terrorism watch list. So I have a designation now when I travel, which is called Quad S or SSSS on my boarding pass. So when I go, it takes about 30 minutes to be able to check into a flight because the airline has to call TSA, and TSA has to approve that I'm allowed to get on the plane, and that takes about 30 minutes. And then I get my boarding passes that say SSSS. So when I go up, the TSA is alerted to that, and they have to close off a special lane just for me. And they bring over about 8 or 9 agents. And it takes about an hour to 2 hours to go through this process where they take every item out of my bag and swab it and test it for explosive materials. They swab my hands and my feet and test that for explosive materials. They do a full body pat down, including putting their hands down my pants, front and back, several times. I have to walk through the metal detector twice. I have to go through the scanner twice. They take pictures of my boarding passes. They take pictures of my ID. And then when I'm finally through this process, I go to the gate, and when I get to the gate and wait for my flight, they bring 8 or 9 agents to the gate, station them all around, behind me, in front of me, and off to my sides, and they bring a special machine to the gate. So when it's time to start boarding the flight, they give me a full body pat down again in front of all the other passengers, and then they take every item out of my carry-on bag again, even though they've just done this, and they take that special machine and they swab everything and test it for explosive materials again, every item in my bag before I can be cleared to get on the plane. So every passenger is watching this happen in terror as I'm about to get on the plane with them.
How many times has this been done to you?
Oh, dozens.
So every time you travel, I'm sitting here thinking
pictures and videos too to verify everything I'm saying.
No, I look. If you're a liar, the internet's going to find out. I'm just thinking. On the one hand, the cost of this, the aggregate cost of these employees, the process, and then, like you just mentioned, now, what does this do to anybody else who's getting? Dude, I'm a reasonable person. I could even know you, but if I see them doing this to you on a plane that I'm getting on, I'm a nervous person. I'm getting very, very scared. This is undermining my everything, Brandon. You did not get into this with Timcast. Someone had brought up, asked in the chat, said, ask him about his flying experience.
Well, there's more. There's more.
Keep going. But wait, there's more.
Yeah. So the first time that I discovered this, again, it sparked all of the PTSD of the FBI raid and going to jail. I thought I was going to be arrested again. I thought that's what's going on. And I called my pretrial services officer, Julie, and I said, Julie, I'm at the airport and I think they're about to arrest me again. And she was like, why? And I said, I don't know. They're being really weird. And I was like, they're like putting me through all this scrutiny and stuff. And she was like, you're allowed to travel. She said, if anything happens, call me. So I was already in a state of a lot of fear and trauma and like this PTSD like coming back. Excuse me. But I did get on the plane, and I mean, honestly, I was a wreck because this was the first time I tried to travel since I got arrested. So I'm on the plane and I'm just like, I'm like almost shaking, just like unable to believe how bad this is. And then I opened my email because I always get Wi-Fi on the plane and I work. And so I opened my email and I have an email from USA Today. And USA Today says, we're doing a story about you and other insurrectionists who are using crowdfunding to support your legal defense funds, and who are using mainstream payment processors like PayPal and Stripe to support your legal defense funds for your, insurrection cases. And do you want to make any comment? And I'm going, well, of course. So of course I didn't respond. And then within 24 hours of getting that email, I got emails from PayPal, Venmo, and Stripe saying that I am permanently banned from using their payment processors for the rest of my life. I am not allowed for the rest of my life to use PayPal, Venmo, or Stripe because of what ended up being a Class B misdemeanor charge for disorderly conduct. I am permanently banned. Yeah. So because of this permanent ban, this also affects not just me, but my organizations. I can no longer process donations to my organizations. And not to mention the fact that also my donor portals to my organizations also banned me. And I was, for my organizations, I was using MailChimp as my email service. I got banned from MailChimp. So I've now lost my ability to process donations. I've lost my ability to email any of my donors and tell them that this has happened. I've lost my email service. I've lost my event ticket because WalkAway, we did events for years. My event ticketing service banned me. My accountant quit. My lawyer quit. I mean, it's like literally my life is collapsing around me, every aspect. And I am being treated like a terrorist, like literally like a terrorist, like somebody who killed a bunch of kids in a school or, planted a bomb somewhere or something, over standing on the steps of the Capitol for 8 minutes and filming and then a misdemeanor for disorderly conduct. So I want you to understand that this is far beyond just what I went through criminally. To this day, I still have an anxiety disorder about opening my mailbox, or if my phone rings and I don't know the number, or God forbid somebody knock on my door and I'm not expecting somebody. It's going to take me probably years to get, because it got to every time I opened my mailbox, there was it was something new. You're banned from this. You're banned from that. You're no longer allowed this. You're restricted from this. The government is preventing you from being able to. I mean, it was just insane, and it would not stop. And then in the month of September, about 9 or 10 months after I got arrested, I got served. I got a knock on my door, and I opened the door, and somebody hands me a stack of papers this thick that I am being sued by 8 Capitol police officers who are suing me under the KKK Act, saying that I violated their civil rights as people of color and engaged in a racially biased attack on them. And they're suing me. And in this lawsuit, and again, go here and watch my video. In the lawsuit against me, they claim that I violently breached barricades to enter the Capitol grounds and proceeded to attack police officers, including the plaintiffs. And I'm still going through that. I'm still named in this civil case.
Brent, I didn't know this. I didn't know this was where we'd be going. And flabbergasted is not the word. I want to ask the legal questions. I might just have to cover this, the proceedings, if I can get a copy of them. They're public, I presume. Have you made a motion to dismiss on the basis that it's patently frivolous on its face?
Yes. Oh, you're a lawyer, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot. We should talk more offline after this is over. Let's stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, we have filed a motion to dismiss, and that is where we are right now. So okay. But I have to tell you, I mean, you're probably a normal and logical person. You would say, well, this case can't possibly go anywhere. This is preposterous.
I'm a normal and logical person. I want to know who encouraged these police officers to take the lawsuit in the first place.
I'll tell you exactly who. It's a group called, and look up their website. You'll learn everything you need to know if you look at their website. It's called Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. That's what they're called. Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. It's like a social justice law firm that I guarantee you is funded by the Democrat Party.
Civil rights violation for the Brandon, unless there's a video that I didn't see. I saw the 8-minute and 37-second video on a YouTube channel where I believe you show your face at 6 minutes and 32 seconds, where you turn it around, you're wearing a mask or a face mask. Sweet, merciful goodness. I didn't know this, and I've learned something new, and I'd like to see a copy of the motion to dismiss. I can break it down.
Yes, and let me tell you this: if anything that they were alleging was true, if I violently breached barricades or proceeded to attack officers, even if it wasn't on my video, do you honestly believe the DOJ would have let that go? I mean, do you honestly think they'd be, just a misdemeanor for disorderly conduct will do on a January 6th violence against police officers? Like, are you kidding? I'd be sitting in the DC gulag right now if I had done any of those things. But it scares the hell out of me because the judge in this case who's going to be deciding, he's also sentencing a lot of these January 6th criminal cases. And he has openly said repeatedly in these criminal cases that Trump incited an insurrection and that, these Trump supporters were violent insurrectionists. Like, this is the person who's deciding if my case is going to get dismissed or not.